And we're live. What's up, y'all? We got oh 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 we got Tommy on the cast today. Very, 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 very excited to have him on. Me and Tommy have been pretty fucking close with all of what we've talked about. Me and Tommy have had these conversations for a while now, probably about a year and a half over the phone. Probably along the same time period me and Taylor were having them. So what's up, Tommy? How you feeling today, big fella?
A little sore, hit the gym, but otherwise I'm great, fantastic.
Yeah, bang. I know you were up early. I texted you because I hit the gym. I was like, oh shit, this dude's up early too. And you were up an
Yes,
hour
sir.
earlier than me too because I'm an hour ahead. So you already know, early bird gets the worm. KD was good with it.
I'm feeling great, dude. Christ is with me, and I'm feeling good. I'm excited to get
Okay.
into this, man. I'm really excited to have Tommy on the show. He's, like you said, he's one of these guys that we've kind of talked about with this more abstract kind of stuff, and I think he's got a lot of good opinions that people, would benefit from hearing. So I think, we can kind of get into it with that said.
Yeah, yeah. So I guess to start off, Tommy, if you want to just give a little bit about yourself, just kind of share
Oh,
share what you about.
brother, brother,
So
Break
where
it
do
little bit
I
down.
about
begin?
myself. Panic.
Yeah.
Nah. So I'm 24. Originally born in Atlanta. Pushed out. I lived in Northeast, 30 minutes outside the city. Don't call me a city boy, I guess. What else? I'm a student. I'm about to transfer to Arizona State this fall. Been looking for housing. That's kind of it. It's actually crazy out there, but it is what it is. And yeah, I've known KD and Trevor for like the past 3-4 years. Great friends. You definitely become who you surround yourself with. So I'm trying to make sure I surround myself with the right people.
Amen, brother. Amen. That's why me and Tommy get along real well. We're both just outside our cities. I was just outside of Chicago. He was just outside of Atlanta. We met up and just outside of Nashville. Shake him up. Uh, and we bonded over Lil Wayne was a huge one for us. We're the same
Yeah, I think it was
age.
Wayne, bro.
Wayne brought us together like no other. Everyone in the shop was getting pissed off. It was Wayne every day. Wayne every day. He showed me no ceilings. Fuck yeah, that was 2 years ago. I learned about no
Damn.
ceilings, bro. Uncultured,
Damn.
uncultured, dude.
Motherfucking dude
Yeah,
alone.
but with that being said, Tommy, I would like to hear kind of how music has affected your life. Um, just kind of in almost all aspects, man.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely carry it with me. It's crazy. For one thing, I definitely know that I have a wider like palette for music. Like sometimes I'll definitely be like, "Yo, I gotta turn my playlist, turn the volume down," because like I don't want people to hear me listening to like you know Fleetwood Mac or like some just something like out there. But like I don't. I also don't care. Like if music is good, I'm gonna listen to it. Now I think it definitely started. I grew up playing like instruments. Like I started playing drums when I was 8, so like that threw me into like jazz, oldies, all kinds like rock and everything. And then my parents growing up like you're gonna hear like 70s, 60s, like old, like jazz, funk, like all like the good stuff. So I think for one, I have a good palette, I have a wide range of taste in music. And then for two, just the way that I bring it with me, like it's always gonna be a part of me. It's always getting me going. I definitely use it like targetingly. Like I'll make so many different playlists, which I need to get on Spotify and start doing that, like KD says. But I got playlists for like motivation, playlists for the gym, playlists just for this month, playlists for chilling. Yeah, I mean, music really. I feel like if you were to like crack my skull open, like there's song lyrics like written
I
on my
know.
brain and stuff.
And
You know what
them
I'm saying? Like
walls on them
it's that
walls.
deep. Yeah.
Yeah, man. I would like for you to kind of elaborate what you mean by carry it with you.
Carry it with me. I got you. How do I put this? I don't know. It's always a song in my head, if that makes sense. Like I could hear a snippet, like I could hear you say like two words, and that could make me think of three different songs. But like I think the easiest way to describe it is like in an uplifting like manner. Like if I'm going through some shit, or like on my wall, like I'll turn the camera on later. On my wall, I got my favorite music quotes. Like I'll write them up on a whiteboard so I see them every day. So like if I get down in the dumps or something, like there's already gonna be some song that I'm thinking of, but like some little quote is gonna float through my head, and I'm gonna be like, all right, that's it. Like either I gotta go listen to that song, or maybe I just start like I'll say like I'll rap that song through my head, like the parts I want to hear. It's just it's a driving factor, it's a motivating factor, and it's also comfort among a million other things, bro.
That's good, man. That's the answer. That was a good answer, man. I'm glad I got you to think there.
No, that was good. Good hosting, man.
But Daly, you got something to add, man?
Yeah, I think music is like one of those things that kind of connects us to not necessarily our ancestors, but people have been making music just with drums since, the time of the caveman. It's like it's one of those universal, I guess, languages. Like we may not understand a language or, a song in a different language, but we can still get the beat. Look how many people here like K-pop don't speak a lick of Korean, but they vibe to it.
Hey.
I think that's the beautiful part about music is that it can bring people together regardless of their culture. And I think how you were saying, Trevor, like you're who you surround yourself with is I think you can use music in a similar regard to that. So, like I'll give you an example, right? Sometimes I'll listen to a sad song, right? Give you an example. Emotionally Scarred by Lil Baby. That's a
Man,
sad
boy,
song.
is that the song you was finna bring on today?
No, I got a different one.
That was the song I'm bringing on, bro. That's
a different song.
Hey,
Oh, really?
that's the song I was bringing on today. Yeah,
Like that.
ain't that some shit? Yeah, go ahead.
No, but the point of it is like I will sometimes listen to a sad song to get myself in kind of that woe is me kind of mentality, just so I can get back out of it.
Yeah,
It's essentially like a music version of weightlifting. So when we lift weights, we're putting our bodies under stress so that we can adapt and become stronger. When I listen to a sad song deliberately, I'm putting myself under, I guess you would call it emotional stress, man. But the point of it is not to make me sad and miserable. The point is to get me sadder so that I can then get a lot happier. And then with that, you can kind of extrapolate that to other things. Like,
yeah.
here's how I can unsad, I guess.
So
with music, I can use that with other things.
What it sounds like is you almost schedule your sadness. And actually, one of the things when I first went into therapy, my first appointment ever. So already thinking all the stigmas and everything. And I went in, I was like, I'm going through divorce, all this stuff. And he said, well, man, you're just going to have to think about it more. And as a man who's just going through divorce, I'm like, that sounds like a horrible idea. Why would I want to think about it more, dog? That's the opposite of what I want to do. But yeah, I think, yeah, you're setting aside that time to put yourself in that emotional state, knowingly though, consciously, and you know the benefits of it. You're reaping the benefits.
Yeah, I mean, I think your mic is off, but real quick, it's like you're deliberately getting out of your comfort zone because you know the growth opportunity that lies in that area where you're uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, KD, like,
yeah,
I never thought of like listening to sad music for the reason like to like working out, like to get out of it, or like to put yourself down to get the come up. But I don't know, when you say it, like I'm almost scared because like if I'm sad, I will purposely make sure I don't listen to those sad songs and stuff because I know it's just gonna drag me down. Like, how do you come back up? Like, do you have different methods? Like, do you ever find that you can't get back out of it, as easily?
Like if I were to listen to a sad song, with the intent of making myself sad, am I worried that I'm not going to be able to escape that? Is that the question?
Yeah, or like, what are your methods? Like, how do you? Do you always come back up out of it as just like that, or is it different every time, or what?
No, it's not like an instant thing, man. But it's kind of one of those things where I just make it a non-optional thing. When I listen
it's
to a sad song,
non-optional.
I've already decided that I'm going to emerge from it. It's just a foregone conclusion, man. There is no if I don't. It's just when I do. And that kind of it helps to start from a point that you know you're going to get out of it. That helps doing it. But it's not like, oh, I'll listen to a sad song, right, and then I'll be kind of in the dumps, and then immediately, 30 seconds later, I'm good. Um, that's kind of the beauty about these sad songs. It's like when you listen to it, a lot of the times we think about something that makes us sad. So for Trevor, it could be your divorce, let's say. You think about it, and when you're forcing yourself to think about these things, you have really no other option other than to reconcile what you've been running
to
from.
be productive.
Yeah, it's like a way to
You're facing your
yourself.
fears.
Exactly right. You're forcing yourself to face what you've been running from. And it's such a great thing because it's like that's you've been running for it or from it for a reason, man. Obviously, a lot of these things are traumatic in nature, and we don't want to think about them. But you can only run from your own life so much. Like you can only what else are you gonna do?
Man, yeah,
Like,
actually, Jordan Peterson. So we'll dive into it a little later, but I was listening to him earlier about the rule we'll talk about, and that was one of the things you can only delay yourself so much until you hit the point where you're like, okay, I need to give more or something. You know what I'm saying? There, you can only procrastinate so much until you finally hit the point. All right, like it's like in human nature to get there and hit that point. We have a soul, we have life. Well, and eventually hit this point, I think, of realization.
yeah, because it's like in the gym, right? If you struggle with your weight, let's say, and you go on for years and years and you're still not making progress, all that you've done is stayed in your comfort zone and not progressed at all. Had you have realized that like no one's going to lose weight but me, and I have to change, and that's where you actually see progress. But you're not going to get to that point if you're never willing or trying to face the root cause of what's aching you, pretty much. That makes sense.
Yeah.
I hope I answered your question. It's kind of a
Yeah, I just want to get kind of more in depth. Like it really feels like it's something I'm gonna try, but it's kind of like exposure therapy in a sense, like instead of avoiding, like I definitely, or I personally, I'll avoid being sad as often as I can, and then when I get sad, sometimes I'm out, sometimes I stay in it. But if you have those little like micro doses, like how you're doing, I think that's gonna build up the resiliency and the tendency to heal yourself whenever you're sad, to move on. Like, no, like, hey, I'm gonna come out of this.
like. Have you heard Jocko Willing talk about like working out and stuff?
A little bit.
A little bit, yeah. So a lot of the times he's, you know, 80 burpees deep in a workout and it just sucks. And all he can think of is good because that suck is going to make him better. And like if you're sad because you are now being forced to examine something that you were running from, it sucks, man, but like good.
It's the bro, yeah. It's you gotta go in with that mentality. You're doing it at the gym. It's like I said. There's before the podcast. Before the podcast, you got those four things: mind, body, soul, spirit. You gotta exercise all of them. You're exercising out your body, bro.
I'm about to blow y'all's mind real quick. Well, listen to this. So just like I use sad songs to make myself sad, right? I also use uplifting songs to make myself happier, let's say. But I should be clear though, when I say uplifting songs, I'm more talking about the lyrics. Because I think a big thing in music right now is using lyrics that, don't have a good message, but like an uplifting beat. And that kind of tricks people. And it's like, okay, well, this song has a good beat. But like if you were to just like read what the dude is saying, it's like, I hate to call it like degenerate behavior, but it's not something that everyone.
That's the state that like mainstream hip hop is in, like hooky, like catchy beats, and then just whatever is anything that's catchy enough to make people.
And
listen
now
to it.
Tie it all together is probably because they don't want to face that emotional gym.
Yeah, but I mean, hip hop, you gotta be careful because you can go back. Like, there's different waves, there's different types, there's different issues everywhere. Like, it's kind of hard to like try and be like circle it and be like this one all off thing, because I mean there's definitely a certain sector of hip hop that is specifically for
Oh
like
yeah,
trap
yeah,
music.
yeah.
What's trap music for? It's for cooking drugs when you're in a trap. Like what is pop
Hey.
music for? It's for like twerking and shaking ass and shit, you know?
Yeah. No, yeah, I feel you. Yeah. No, that's a good addition, bro. I like that.
Yeah, so
Uh,
I one thing that I started doing was trying to find more music with positive lyrics.
yeah.
And obviously that's a really hard thing because like if you go on Spotify on like the hip hop playlist or the rap caviar, it's mostly about ass and drugs, which it's like, okay, great. I mean, they're all catchy songs. I can't say as I don't listen to some of them, but then I'll listen to a song. There's one that I was going to bring up in this cast. It's called "God Is" by Kanye West, and it's like it's a hip hop song, but the whole time he's just talking about God and how like grateful he is to even be alive. And it's like that's a really uplifting thing, and I've never listened to a song like that and not felt better about like fucking my entire life, you know?
Yeah. So I'll give my kind of 2 cents on music now. We'll go back to Emotionally Scarred. That song came to me in Iraq, uh, mid divorce, like right when I started divorcing. That song's gotten me through shit. I listened to it twice here. I'll listen to it again when I fucking get off the podcast. It'll go on forever. It was something to where I was asked multiple times, "Do you ever go anywhere without your headphones?" While I was in Iraq, I said no.
How about no?
Yeah, hey, I got an idea. No, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like no, man. Music has been an outlet for me in all aspects of life, and surprisingly, I listen to mostly rap. Mostly rap. Kodak Black is big one on my list. Lil Durk is probably number one for me. Lil Baby's probably number two. But Lil Durk, listening to his music, it's when you want to talk about uplifting, man. Lil Durk, all he talks about is uplifting his homies. He's from. If people don't, I'll link a or a video down below that explains kind of his life. I think it's a 10-minute clip and kind of how he grew up. But once you watch that video, you kind of see what kind of person he is and what he's doing his music for, what his purpose in his life is, and you truly see like good in these so-called ghettos where there is no good and all it is shooting people on the news. In Chicago, it's 100 people die every Saturday. So this is what you're getting fed on the news, but Lil Durk is deep down in the trenches, also feeding his soul into this music that I relate with, and I have me and him are completely demographically opposites, damn near. So I think like music is just so good. It's way and when you talk about sad music, I use sad music in a way to relate, to help me feel like I'm not alone. NF is a really good one for that. And for me, he's actually considered a Christian rapper. He's a really good one in that matter. He's sad music, but his lyrics are very meaningful, and you could get so much out of them. And my favorite song is "I Miss the Days," and I sent it to my siblings. It's just, man, it's just good music, and you could use it, like Taylor said, as an emotional gym. I never thought of it that way, to be honest. I always thought of it as like I said, I use it as to not feel alone. But yeah, awesome. That was awesome to hear, because I'm gonna start using it. Or I guess it's like Tommy said, it's more realization therapy. I guess I have been doing it, just didn't know.
And I don't think it's wrong to listen to songs to feel like to relate, you know. I think that could be an incredibly beneficial thing. I just think that it's important to understand that music really affects how we feel and what we think. And if you kind of, you know, don't have that in mind, it's really easy to have music manipulate you.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. No, like that's kind of why I make so many playlists and stuff. And how you were saying, like with the uplifting beat, but like shitty lyrics is like I got to the point where, you know, I press play on my playlist and it auto plays and it goes through, and then like you have to, like, you're in the car, you listen to music, you're here, you listen to music, you're there, you listen to music, and then at the end of the day, if you take the whole sum, like what am I listening to? You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes I'll be listening to a song and it's like, oh, I love this song, but I'm like, what am I listening to? It's like he's just talking
Yeah,
about
I've
like,
been there, bro. Yeah,
yeah,
you're
like
like, what the fuck?
what am I
It
putting
really
into
is
my
this.
brain?
Yeah. No, I
It's like,
agree.
what are you saying? Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
whatever we're consuming, whether it be, food, the people we surround ourselves with, our music, they all affect us in a lot of ways that a lot of people just aren't privy to is happening. And it's like the downside of that is it's really easy to get kind of taken advantage of and manipulated if you don't know that that's happening.
It's scary to me. It's scary to me because I mean I love music and I don't want to like cut myself off from it. Like I know I'm still gonna listen to the game, Kanye. I'm still gonna listen to all the stuff. But one thing that I did start doing is like when I'm in the car, for the most part, I would say like 80% of the time, it's either no radio or an audio book or TED Talks on YouTube, and that's it. Like I did it probably like 2 weeks ago. I started it. Like I don't really listen to music in the car no more.
That's funny you mention it because like I don't really do that either. It'll either be like NPR or like a podcast, but it's just like so much more mentally stimulating.
Yeah,
It's like
bro. That's yep. I just switched over to
it's
that.
NPR, like, and I don't agree with really anything that they say, it's still forcing me to think about it, and I'm being introduced then to an opinion that I don't agree with,
Yeah,
and that helps me kind of rationalize my own opinions on things
It gets you
and see where
thinking.
the other side is coming from.
yeah. Get you
Yeah,
thinking.
yeah. It gets you thinking. Like for me, I work like it's a brainless job. I wash a golf cart and then put it away, plug it in, and that's about it.
It's
but
a good point though, 'cause
but
it's like
I
if you don't use it, you lose it.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I started listening to podcasts instead. Like I said, I started mentioning the Jocko podcast last night, and that was all because I was at work able to listen to the podcast. So here I was thinking I want to quit my job, but then where do I get this time to listen to these podcasts? I'm not going to do it here sitting at home. I got a
It's like
computer right in front of my face. If I'm watching a podcast on Spotify, there's a League of Legends button right here. There's a Steam button right here. One click away from playing one game, bro. What's one game? 2 games, 3 games, 4 games, 5 games. So this part-time job I'm getting paid $10 for really turned into something way bigger just because I started listening to podcasts.
Double dip.
yeah, like we were talking about yesterday about like how a lot of guys will, not guys necessarily, people will like wake up, they have a job that is not hard, and they go home and then they cook a meal that they haven't thought about at all, and then they go to bed. And it's like, okay, that's your entire day. That's an easy life. But like how much mental stimulation are you getting in that day? And it's like really nothing. You don't really have to problem solve. You don't have to think outside the box. You don't get to make up your own solutions to problems, which I think everyone needs to do. You're not really exercising your brain. And then the downside is that it's like you don't use it, you lose it. You begin to get dumber, I guess, or more
No.
more dull. Like you don't have these problem solving tools that you should because you never have to solve them.
Yeah, and one of my things was I used to actually wake up and immediately swipe the right side of my iPhone and click play. And it would play my song immediately, right from the get-go, right when I wake up, and it would be until I slept. And then I don't know who I was listening to, but it was like I finally realized I'm kind of dulling my brain out a little too much. I love music. Yes, that's awesome. It's great to have this passion for music, but at the same time, it's going a little too far because I'm also not doing anything crazy or making money with it. You know what I'm saying? Like like I'm dulling my music with or dulling my mind with this music and not making money or getting anything productive out of it because really I can focus on the music for about 30 minutes and get a more productive or like mentality out of it. Like the gym. I go in, listen to music for an hour, and that hour I'm really focused on the music. But if now I stretch it out for the rest of the day, it dulls the quality. Just you know what I'm saying? It gets weaker. I'm not listening anymore.
Yeah, no,
It's
yeah.
background
As
noise.
soon as I started like cutting back on music, now it's like when I do play music, it's like I'm excited. It's like, oh, I love
Yeah.
this song. Like it may be a song I heard 40 times. When it comes on now, it's like, oh, I love this song. And now I'm paying more attention to it.
Yeah.
Because before, and I'm sure you found it, like press play, and then all of a sudden, like you look up and you're like, wait, we're already in the third verse, and like, oh, the song's already ending. Like, bro, I didn't really listen to that song.
Yep. Every day.
No, big thing because when you're constantly getting stimulation like that, your dopamine receptors get fried. It could really
Yeah.
be anything. Like that's why guys get erectile dysfunction when they watch too much porn. Their dopamine receptors get fried, and then they can't get it up now because they're constantly having that flood of dopamine in their head. Just like if you were always listening to music, it's not going to sound as good after a while. Or if you were constantly snacking, that meal that should taste really good isn't now because your body's been used to that the whole day pretty much.
And I'm curious, honestly, I'll have to research it and maybe you guys know something about it. If that has to actually have anything to do with ADD.
What you mean specifically?
Because especially growing up, there's definitely more children now with two monitors or two things going on, music in the background while doing this, or and definitely while I play CS:GO or any game, anything, I want to have something on in the background. It's almost like I need to keep stimulating the brain. Do you think that's like almost like I you know what I'm saying? Does that make any sense? I'm sorry. This all just came to my head now. I'm just kind of curious.
I don't think it's, if anything, I think that would play into like an over diagnosis of ADD. I could be completely wrong about this,
Yeah, no,
but
that's exactly what I'm saying. It's definitely. I'm sure you can look at a graph or something and see that it's spiked up when probably I would say when the internet came about. It
yeah,
spiked
yeah,
up.
people probably right now it's like, oh, I have
Yeah.
ADD, I have ADD, but it's like we know that you cannot multitask. Like you can do, yeah, you can do this and that, but like your brain cannot actually do two things at one time. You cannot actually focus 100% on two things at one time. So, but we're in this overstimulated society to the point where like it's just the norm to kind of not pay attention. So I think that brings up the cases of like, oh, I can't focus, I probably have ADD. But like, did you try? Like, did you try to put the blinders on and sit down and do just this one thing yet? You know?
Taylor, chime in on that because you just talked about the oversubscription or over prescription of Adderall earlier, didn't you?
Okay, yeah. So I'll kind of go into it. I think that Adderall is one of those super overprescribed drugs right now. Like when I was a kid, dude, and growing up, it was super easy to get a prescription for Adderall. Anyone that went to the doctor saying they couldn't concentrate was diagnosed with ADD or ADHD and got an Adderall script. Fucking, it seemed like instantly. Like I knew people in high school doing that, and it's like the problem is not that they can't pay attention. Like if you stuck that same kid that you diagnosed with ADHD in front of a computer screen with Rocket League, he would play it for 8 hours straight. It's the problem is that you're not stimulating kids' minds in the correct way. Like I
Ah.
know when I was growing up, I was trying to play Counter Strike. I wasn't trying to learn math just because it bored me. Like
Hell no. Hell
yeah,
no, hell no.
the information was presented poorly, I thought, by the teachers because they didn't give a shit because it was public schools. It's To me, math is boring as hell. It's just numbers. So you got boring information presented by boring people, and then you're surprised when I'm bored. That's not me having a legitimate ADHD issue. Not that some people don't, but to say, oh, I can't pay attention in math class, therefore I have ADHD. It it just seems ludicrous to me because that same kid would play video games for 8 hours straight. So those can't exist at the same time.
It's a good viewpoint, man. Very good
That makes
viewpoint.
sense.
Yeah, with
I don't want to
that.
say people don't legitimately have needs for these
No, no, no.
drugs.
I think you stated it well just from listening to
Yeah,
you.
it's
But
just
with
that
that,
it kind of gets overprescribed.
I think that ties into Jordan Peterson's rule I was talking about, rule number 2. Taylor, you want to kind of? I know this one it resonates more with you than it does with me. It was you picked it out, so if you just want to kind of start it off, give the quote or
So the
anything.
rule is that you should treat yourself like you're responsible for helping yourself, or you treat yourself like someone you're responsible for helping.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
think that is such an incredibly important thing to do right now because we all know the easy answer, right? To really any problem, but that doesn't mean that it's the most beneficial thing to do. So, like, okay, say you got depressed, right? You're in the dumps about whatever. The easiest thing for you to do to temporarily relieve that is, like, what for me was to go get a bunch of food and go to town, right? Like, that made me feel better because now I have all these fast food in me, or all this, good feeling in me, and food that's designed to make me feel good. But I haven't addressed the issue. So if you came to me, Trevor, and said you were depressed, I wouldn't tell you to go get a bunch of fast food. I would tell you to take your ass to the gym.
So why are you
I
not
think
telling yourself that?
it kind of boils down to, when you're helping someone else, your advice is different from when you're trying to help yourself. If everyone would
Yeah.
like to touch on.
Go ahead, Tom.
I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how to describe it, or like what the feeling is or why it occurs, but like I know for a fact because I've had the opportunity to help a lot of people. I mean, look at Adams. He's a soup sandwich, but we still tried to help him. But like, there's a different mode. Like when I'm helping someone else, it's almost like there have been times in the past. Well, I will go like above and beyond. Like I don't. I'll like not like too detrimental, but I'll neglect myself. Like I don't care. It's like if I can help you, I'm gonna help you. Da 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 da. Whatever. But then when the script is flipped, and I'm thinking about myself, it's like I'm either a lot harsher on myself, or I just won't take the advice that, like, I'll know what to do, and my mind will just be like, nah, I don't want to do that today.
So
I don't know what phenomenon is.
I think it is what you just said. We know what to do, but we beat ourselves up because we don't have the discipline to do it. So now we know the right answer. Like we were saying earlier, you can only prolong it so much until you finally hit the point where you're like, I know the fucking answer, but I'm still not doing it. So I think everyone eventually hits that point, but I think personally that's what it boils down to. It's like a guilty conscience.
Yeah, because like when you're helping someone else, you provide them with a lot more of like an unbiased, I would call it, suggestion.
Yeah.
So like if I had a problem, I have so many personal biases that would interfere with me being like figuring out something else to do. But if you ask me for advice, I don't have the same problems you have. Objectively, I'm gonna know what is better for you than yourself.
Yeah, and one of the things Jordan Peterson said, sorry, Tommy, one of the things he said is another thing to take into account is you have personally seen all the bad things you have done. No one else has. I know every bad thing I have done. So it's eating up in the back of my mind because I know all those horrible things that I know I proceeded to do that I knew the right answer for, and then it just eats you up, eats you up, eats you up until eventually you become down into the depths of hell. You're just the worst person ever, and you become a narcissistic asshole, or you finally hit the point where you blossom and you now are treating yourself how you should be treating yourself. Good? You got something, Tom?
No, I mean the only thing that I also was thinking of is like it's easier to talk the talk. Like that's the last thing I was thinking of is like it is a lot easier to hey Tommy, I need help, and I'm like, okay bro, you just gotta do this and this. That's super easy because I don't have to do it. You know what I'm saying? So that could also play into it.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I think because so many times we know the right answer to what we should be doing. Like, rarely have I had a problem where I'm like, I don't know what to do. Most of the times it's okay, I know what I should probably be doing. It's just that I don't because I'm either, lazy or whatever. Or I don't want to
Well,
try
and now society's made it even easier to take the easy route. Like it's way easier to go just snag some food from McDonald's than it is to go snag chicken, rice, and all that to make some food. You know what I'm saying?
On anything.
Like cavemen didn't get to go do that. Us as humans weren't meant to do that. We weren't meant to have this convenience that we do now. It's way too easy to take the easy route, and so we are.
Yeah, and there's really no downside to not taking it if you just keep doing it.
Yeah, if you stick with the rest of them.
Yeah, if you run from your problems, you could honestly, dude, if you wanted to be miserable, you could probably run from your problems your entire life and die with them. It's like,
I know one person like that.
yeah, like you wouldn't think yourself to be maybe happy, but deep down, you hate yourself. But it's an easy thing to do because you just
That's the narcissistic lifestyle.
yeah, you don't have to pay any like emotional labor
Hmm.
to reconcile these things, and it's an easy thing to do.
Amen, brother.
But that doesn't make it a good thing. It's the thing.
No, yeah,
That's
that's
the
the
importance of that rule is that we know the easy thing, but that's not what we should be doing 99 times out of 100.
because them
It's like
str-
they,
What is it? You got to choose the easy or the hard right over the easy left or something like that.
the easy wrong, bro.
The easy wrong over the hard right or some shit, bro. Let me look that
The
up.
hard right over the easy wrong is what you're trying to say.
No,
money.
you.
Ah, cooked them. So, as everyone knows, I have put myself pretty full on into this podcast, about 100%. That's how it should be. And I brought up before we started recording, just kind of work life and personal life balance. You guys already changed my mind. That's why I brought it up. I needed some help, and I recognized that last night. Um, I said it to Marissa too. I said, "Look, I don't know how to do this. I need some help on it already." So, Taylor, if you, I resonate with what you said. Work
What do you
life.
mean work-life balance? What were you
So,
struggling with work-life?
so essentially, last night I got off of work. I worked all day. Got home at 8:30, which was late. I came in the door 15 minutes late because I was on the phone with Tommy talking about the podcast. Yeah, yes, sir. Came into here and then hopped right onto an episode. She says, "Okay, whatever. I'll go do this." Goes, does her own thing, and then I'm like, "Yeah, dope. I got Tommy on tomorrow morning too at 9 a.m." And she was like, "Well, it seems like you just keep scheduling them all when I have off." And I was like, "No, I'm just scheduling them all. You just happen to be off."
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And that's what I said to her. So it was, I didn't know kind of how to go about it, and I don't have any opinions on it. I never ran into this problem in my life. So if you want to touch on it or any problems you've ran into and kind
Yeah,
of
no.
what you got out of it.
Um, I'm okay. So personally, I'm of the belief that you shouldn't be trying to find a work leisure balance when you're in your 20s, even your 30s. I think that that's such a waste of the energy that we have at this age. You shouldn't be finding a work-life balance in your 20s. I think if you're doing that, that's just a cope for not working and achieving all that you could. Because I think some things, dude, are just not achievable with an exit strategy. I think like if you were to swim, right? Some islands you can only get to if you go all in on the fucking out, Like you can't be half-assing a lot of things.
Yeah, I
What
feel
were
you.
you gonna say, Tony?
I don't know. I like your point of view because of the grind mindset. Like I love the grind. I love the hustle. And like yeah, if you know what you're doing and you know what you want to do, and you're in your 20s, like there's no that's kind of the way I see it too. Like I if life is a candle that's this long, like I'm gonna burn my 20s. I'm gonna burn that motherfucker up. You know what I'm saying? I'm grinding.
Yeah.
I'm trying everything out because I know that majority of people live way longer past 40. So I can
Yep.
take this decade and worst case scenario fall flat on my face. Hopefully build a good foundation and figure out the rest later. But at the same time, though, I still have to advocate for at least setting some kind of boundaries. I would say the biggest thing about work-life balance is like I'm somewhere in the middle. Like definitely grind out, definitely like the 20s, like send it, full send, go, go, go. But like I think the easiest thing to say is to know yourself. Like if you know that you're getting too wound up or you know that you're getting to the point where like, oh, I've just been grinding, like go ahead and set that boundary and set a specific time. Like one of my homies, him and his girl, they Sundays, they fast from like everything, technology, food, but like they literally tell everyone in their lives we are not available. They lock their phones up, and Sundays they go to the park and they just enjoy their day. So like, I'm not saying you gotta do that every Sunday, but if you know that you're grinding up, you better put some backstops in there, because you can't be all gas no brakes without refueling. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But
I'll
also,
disagree with you on that, and I'll
really?
tell you why.
All right, yeah, bring it.
Absolutely, I'll tell you why. So the all gas no brakes mentality works if you have a purpose, and that purpose has to be a pretty big thing. So like with the podcast that we're doing, for example, we know our purpose. We can help every single man that listens to this podcast, even women who want to know how men think. We can help so many people. Theoretically, we could change the world by doing this.
That's the goal.
But it's got to be a good reason, man. So like anytime I'm thinking like, oh, I don't really want to make a TikTok. I just think about, bro, we could change the world, and then that helps me.
This one
It's not even a
TikTok.
grind mindset. Yeah, it's not even a grind mindset, man. It's just I know I'm capable of building something, and I don't want to get to an age that I'm 60 and I thought, oh well, where would I be if I had just worked a little bit
Yeah,
harder?
so that's what I was going to tap into, is because everyone
Yeah.
who is old has a million regrets. There is a million things they didn't do. They don't, I
That's
wish
the
I did this, I
biggest
wish I
thing.
did this, I wish I did this. The first thing everyone said to me when I asked about joining the military was, I wish I did. So I think, Tommy, the reason why you don't full on grind, you have that mentality, and it is in your soul. We all see it. And that's the point of our podcast, is because once you do find that purpose, your grind is not going to stop.
I was about to say, bro, I did skip the first episode, which is titled Purpose.
Yeah, my
So
man.
definitely got to go back to that one.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm starting to see what I feel what y'all are saying is
Yeah.
like, yeah, like if I know exactly my purpose, I know that it's in the bag. Like I probably, even if I wanted to sleep, I probably wouldn't. But like you have to make sure you get there first, or my question is like, and maybe you probably already answered this, but like work-life balance. Let's talk about like just work. Like I work over there at McDonald's. I need work-life balance there. But like in the meantime, while I'm trying to find my purpose, like what are the steps? Like how are we teaching people to pivot? Like to first, because first you got to find your purpose, and then you can full send it. You know what I'm saying?
So personally,
Yeah, go ahead, Trevor.
personally, step one is financial freedom. So yeah, you got that. You have to work. So you have to work. You have to work. However, you have to also grind for more financial freedom. Once you, like for me, I got out the military. I'm getting paid disability. I am lucky enough to have the financial freedom. Now my grind don't stop. Once you succeed it, the work-life balance, like Taylor said, there you almost can't, bro. If you want, your purpose will come if you grind. It will. Like I wasn't grinding at work. I was grinding in my personal life because of my financial freedom. You know what I'm saying? So for me,
Yeah.
I'm not. That's why I haven't ran into the balance. Maybe Taylor can touch on that. But for me personally, and hopefully you get in a lucky situation like myself. But that allowed me to grind on the personal life to where I was able to just hone in on all of it. And that's
Yeah, I think
also what I'm sorry, what also kind of pushed me away from like my family, because it's always been the work mindset. But they've also never received disability like I'm receiving disability. You know what I'm saying? So I'm also in this personal mindset where I had to fix myself, because I knew going into a job, I'm broken. It's going to be miserable. I'm going to make the people around me miserable, and I don't want to do that. So let me grind my personal life. And it was hard. It definitely was hard. And it's going to hit. I hit lows. I hit highs. Not too high. Kept going low. And then once it finally hit, I found my purpose, and boom. Now the grind don't stop again. Now I'm just back on. Now I got to figure out the work personal life balance now. But I don't, like Taylor said, I almost don't want one. I want to do this. It's eating me up when I'm laying in bed at 6 a.m. thinking about sleep until 7 because I want to spend that extra hour doing this.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things, man, where you really have to be patient with yourself. Like, I'm 25. It took me years of searching to find my purpose and kind of like what I, wanted to do. But it's one of those things where you can fail at 100 different things that you try. But if you learn from each one of those, you're not even going to be able to fail 100 times. If you learn from the first 10, that 11th one's probably going to be pretty successful. So it's like a lot of kind of trial and error. And I think so for that example of McDonald's, right? If you're working at McDonald's to kind of get some money, you have to do what you have to do. But at the end of the day, no one's going to find your purpose for you and no one's going to make you successful. It's not just going to come from the clouds and like, fucking, here's success. It sucks that it's like that, but some things, man, are just not attainable unless you put in the work. And I think that's the big thing. It's like work-life balance. It's like, you may be tired, man, but how bad do you want it?
Yeah, and Tommy, I think, well, for starters, episode 1's quote was Albert Einstein. You ought to have listened. And it was the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different outcome.
Can I speak on something real quick too?
Send it.
So this is a big thing for us in like relationships, right? Because like when we got off yesterday, it was like fucking 9 o'clock, right? And like my wife was in there and like she was pissed because she worked 14 hours that day, and then here I am and like she's home and I'm doing the show, right? And she was initially kind of mad about it, but I reminded her, this is going to make me better, right? Me being better benefits her and infinitely more than anything else. You know what it reminded me of, you was like when I was really trying to lose weight and kind of get kind of control over my health, and we had to do we had to exercise at the shop at 7. So I was getting up at 4:15 to go.
Oh, you cut out. Whoa, 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 whoa.
See my months.
Hang on.
Keep reminding her, it's going to benefit us all.
You gotta mess with your phone or something because your mic is all messed up. We got to it was waking up at 4:15 for PT.
Yeah, I was about to say that's the last thing I heard.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So like when I was waking up at 4:15, right? I would wake up at 4:15, go to the gym, then go to work and work out. We'd get off at 5. I'd go to bed at like fucking 7:30, 7:45, 8 o'clock, so I could get my 8 hours. And like I didn't see my wife a whole lot because she was studying, then going to school. And I had to keep reminding her, I was like, I'm not seeing you much right now, but I'm doing it to make myself better. And me being better is going
Yeah. So, yeah. You cut out again. But to touch on that, it goes to that like manifestation shit, or like you kind of just your positivity spreads. And for me, Mercer came home yesterday with a book, bro. I think it's right here on the ground somewhere. Yeah, came home with a book. Went for a run this morning. I mean, you name it. We had breakfast. She bought us breakfast to cook this morning. Did the dishes so I could cook the breakfast while I was doing work. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, it sucks that last night we didn't get to hang out or get to watch a movie or whatever. But at the same time, that turned it into this. Now this day is way better. We've both yesterday our day was phenomenal, but the night kind of sucked because we didn't get to hang out. You know what I'm saying? So in the end, yes, that night does suck. In the grand scheme of things, though, my day was 12 hours. My night was 4. So if my 4 hours sucks, I guess it has to. You know what I'm saying? For that 12 hours, if that's how you got to put it, that's how you got to put it. That 12 hours was phenomenal for me. And like she said, she had a really good time as well.
Yeah.
I was just saying, like on the podcast yesterday. Yesterday was my like the greatest day of my life so far. So she had a great day, but yeah, it was just about that. I'm sorry. This is what I want to do, and as you can see, it's helping me. You know what I'm
It's
saying?
cool. It's cool. It sounds like you found a person too that's like down with that. Like you're bettering yourself. Like instead of acting psycho, she's like right there with you. So I'm glad to hear that for you.
Yeah, and it was actually interesting because one of the first things I asked her when we first met, it had to be at least like 2 weeks in. I was like, "Hey, if I went on a diet, would you too?" And 2 weeks into a relationship with a girl, you probably shouldn't ask that.
Well, what do you?
Yeah, she said, "Huh?" But no, I said if I hopped on a diet to better myself for the gym or whatever, would you end up hopping on a diet? And she said, "Yeah." And then I sat and thought about it. I was like, "We're gonna have to put this to the test at some point." But if she says yes now, then we got some butter.
And I think it only really works if you're pursuing something that like is part of your purpose, you know?
Yeah, that's
Like
what we
with
were talking about, Tommy. Yeah,
like with me, I wanted to lose weight to better myself and become healthier, you know. I could be a better father, kids, just be an overall better person. But if I was, you know, in my room playing video games, like we talked about Adams, he was doing, if he listens to it, but like he was playing video games. That's not a productive thing the way, I mean, it can be, but not the way he was doing it. And it's like, if he was gone the same time, but doing something productive, his wife, I don't think would have a problem with it because
yeah.
women love a driven man. You can't argue that.
Woman, and what I thought about today in the shower, woman parents. No woman's parents, and if their parents think
Oh,
that way, they're gonna love you. If like, dude, I thought about it in the shower today. I was like, oh, dude, when I fucking show her parents this, ooh, they're gonna love it. She's got a brother. I mentioned Jordan Peterson to her mom once, and she was like, honestly, you got to get him to do that because he won't listen to any of us. And I was like, ah, okay. So yeah, it's not just like it overall for the relationship. It's better. Like, what's her mom gonna care about that? We watched Forrest Gump yesterday, or that Marissa got up early today, went on a run. We had breakfast and bought a book yesterday to start reading.
yeah, I mean, that's a good thing to touch on is like when you surround yourself with productive people, it's infectious. It's hard to be around people making moves and like just remain stagnant. Like that's not a very
Mm-hmm.
natural thing to do.
Tommy, I want you to touch on that because that was one of the first things you said to me. It's hard to be around people making moves when you got that grind mentality.
What you mean? Wait. What you mean? Which
Cause
part of it?
so you texted me that you read the or listened to the podcast and you said I mean I could pull it up. Hang on 1 second, I will. Cause like I said, it changed my day. I read it today too, but it was I'm gonna check it out. I'm like, bro, fuck this. The homie's out here manifesting greatness. Let me get back to it as well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I
So
sometimes even just me being on this podcast is like I'm getting charged. Like I already know I'm having some brainstorms. It's getting me like motivated again. But like you don't realize it. It's really hard to realize, and that's I've already like I know I want to have kids someday. That's so I have like random thoughts, but one thing like one of the most important things I want to teach them is like, yo, you will become your friends. You will become your friends. Like if you're around people doing certain things, like I'm not saying you're gonna transform into them, but like it's just the way that human nature is. You're seeing these things are becoming normal. Even if every single time you see your friend smoke a cigarette, you're like, that's bad for you. Like you're still hanging around them. Eventually you might get to that point where, hey, like fuck it, I've seen it for so many years, I might do it. Like it goes, but it goes both ways. Like if I'm around y'all, or if I know who I want to be, I need to open my eyes up. Like it's gonna be lonely at first, but like there's people out there. Like you gotta seek them out. You gotta find them, and you gotta start surrounding yourself because that's how you build up this fortress of your life and yourself. You know what I'm saying?
this empire.
His empire, baby.
Yeah, that's where I think kind of Twitter is a great tool for dudes wanting to improve their kind of like friend group, I guess, is like the quality of people that you have access to if you know where to look It's like you don't get those caliber of people. Like, you don't have access to those kind of people just normally, because they're all over the world. It's like a lot of the times we're bound by where we live and kind of the how we put ourselves out there. But Twitter is great too, because like if you leverage that algorithm, like we talked about, you can really be surrounded by people that are doing, great things. And it's like you can't read a Soul Bra post or listen to his podcast and not be motivated. It's not possible.
It's just about getting to the point where you're able to withstand that constant like barrage almost all day of this way of life that you haven't been living, pretty much. Pretty much this barrage of information that you've been living it all wrong. So for the past 24 years, you're wrong, pretty much. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and
having the openness to like change, to accept that you are wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, it can be uncomfortable because you kind of, the more like you kind of strive to better yourself.
Hey, technical difficulty. Hey, get that sheet, Tommy, where it's at. Hey, get it at where it is. Yo, get the piano out. Hang on, let me get my piano. Hang on.
Oh, wait a second. I should have run it backwards, bro.
Hey, let me know if it sounds good. I got the harp tone on here.
Oh, we about to make some beats?
Yeah, hang on. Hold that sign up.
Turn the fucking mic on.
Wait, hang on. I got even a better idea. Boom! Keep going. Pull it back up. Put it back up. Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Huh? What'd you say? Can't hear you over this wonderful music. Hey. Yeah.
No, I just
All
looked up. I have the Wi-Fi extension.
Oh yeah. Hey, we're working on it. We're working on getting them a computer and shit. So hopefully,
work in progress.
Yeah, hopefully this weekend we'll have some unbelievable content.
I didn't catch everything of what you. Or let me put it this way: I ain't hearing. You know what you just said. It sounded like it was about to be. It was about to be something my homie always tells me about. The path to success can be extremely lonely.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was getting at. Is like when you start to kind of want to better yourself and make moves to do that. A lot of the times you alienate yourself from the friends that you already have, and that doesn't make them bad people or like any less. It's just like your interests change over time. And that's an uncomfortable thing to kind of do.
It sucks.
But it is what it is, man. It's like if you're destined for greatness, you can't be around people that aren't.
It's bro. Touching on that, it's scary. It feels bad. It's terrible. It's sad. Like, I mean, like my first example in Trevor and Bosa. When you stop drinking, like I have no friends now because like these people hit me up to drink and I'm like, nah. But do you want to go to movies? Like, no, they just want to numb. But like also with like the state that I'm getting myself into now, bro, I be feeling so lonely sometimes because like I'm sorry, but the majority of people out here are very like-minded. A lot of them are like-minded, and I can't really like I can't get down with them. So oftentimes it's like I try and meet people, we're not on the same wave. I go back into my bubble, but I feel so isolated sometimes,
I mean, you don't have to say sorry because the statistics show it, bro. You could go on any Twitter. Soul Bra's an unbelievable content creator. What's he got? Maybe 230K followers? Go to any like you know what I'm saying? Like go to who? Shakira's probably got 100 million, 100 billion. You know what I'm saying? Like it all anything society wants, they're gonna have these people all are. It's the tribalism we just talked about. They're all following this one person who isn't the best role model, but on Instagram look like the best role model. And then it's hard to find the people who are isolated because it's so overpopulated with the people who think that way, who don't think like you.
Yeah, it's like there's less people that think like you, man, but the ones that do are like so much more valuable, I think.
And they are
It's
there.
one of those quality over quantity type deals. I'd rather have,
One
three or
good
four
friend.
great friends that think like me and that want to, all better themselves than, 10 people where we just go out and drink and we're not really bettering ourselves.
Yeah, and even when you go out and drink, you never like have a conversation. You got the whole time. So you can't fucking even talk. So you're not even getting a good quality hangout sesh, so to speak. But anything else y'all want to add? You want to talk about? Tommy, I know you got notes in front of you.
I mean, I had put down, and I kind of wanted to touch on it earlier, like the positive self-talk, positive affirmations, kind of like self-fulfilling prophecies. It just in the sense of like I noticed, and I think it got ingrained because I was doing it for so long. But like I can't remember what it's called, but basically it's like when if I go do something I mess up, like if I dropped a glass of water, right? And then like my mind immediately in my head I go like, oh man, I'm always so clumsy. Like right there, what I say, I'm always so clumsy. You know what I'm saying? Like you gotta start getting rid of that, of like the always. Anything that's like 100%. Like I'm always like this. Oh, I'm like that. I'm this. I'm that. Like it's gonna start becoming a self-fulfilling prophecy. And so it goes to mindfulness too. But like my main thing is like I think you need to make sure that you're checking your thoughts. And then I did want to ask this earlier. Do either of y'all meditate or practice mindfulness?
Oh, yeah, every day. What was it? Yesterday, after the podcast got off, laid in bed with Marissa, and even while she was just laying there with me, I closed my eyes and was breathing. Like she was touching me, but I closed my eyes and was breathing. This morning, I did the same thing before I got out of bed, which is a scary one. I wouldn't recommend it. Potential of falling back to sleep is way too high, uh, but to touch on the self-fulfilling prophecies thing, one thing, and I'll never forget it because it stuck out to me like a sore thumb. It was so cool. I was sitting in this chair. Marissa was sitting right behind me. We were watching like a Kodak Black music video, and I turned to her and I said, "I'm gonna be rich." And she said, "I know, baby." I said,
Hell
"You
yeah.
you is motherfucking right." So that ties into the whole music thing, how it affects me. You see these dudes, I mean, Lil Baby, all these people with the chains on, Gucci, Ice Daddy with the chain on. I want a chain. I want a watch. I want nice shoes. I want a nice car. I want all that, but it's not possible unless I get my money first. Unless I grind first. Go ahead, Daly.
Yeah, I try and meditate too. Like for me, it kind of started when I was going in the sauna at the gym, right? Like I would try and do like 20 minutes every time I went, right? But like I couldn't bring my phone in there because the shit would overheat. So it's like now I'm literally just alone with my thoughts in this like hot box pretty much. And I'm one of the kind of people that mind is always going, fast as shit. Like I'm just like always thinking.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, it occurred to me. I was like, I wonder if I could just stop doing this. Like if I could think about nothing. I wonder how hard that would be. And it ended up being really, really difficult. And I really couldn't do it on the first time. And then I kind of started looking up how to do it. Like for me, I just would imagine a ball bouncing. Like that was something simple that I could just think about, but not too much. And that was kind of a way for me to learn how to meditate and kind of take control of your thoughts. But I think that it's something that everyone should be doing just because you have so much more control of your mental state when you do that.
Yeah, so another popular one like the ball bouncing is counting sheep for going to sleep. I know that goes around the internet everywhere. You could just look it up on YouTube, and it's just cartoon sheep walking across the screen, jumping over a fence, and then it comes again, walks across the screen, jumps over a fence, comes again, and you just count the sheep in your head so that you're thinking about essentially nothing and you fall asleep. But one of the things I focus on is my breathing. That's the way I meditate.
I think also it's important to note, because I know a lot of people, or some people don't meditate, plenty of people don't. Some people are like turned off. I was turned off at first, but like there's no one right way to do it. There's like a million different meditations, and every single person who meditates, you tweak it to yourself. Like we don't all meditate the same way. I have like 3 or 4 favorite meditations that I'll do, but also like you said, like the most common one and the one that I use the most around outside is just focus on my breath. Like be my breath. Like I breathe in. If a thought comes, I'm like, I just thought about this. But then I go back to breathe. I'm like, I'm right here. Just let it go, breathe out, breathe in again. Just do that for however long, you know what I'm saying? But like there's no one right answer.
Yeah, and it's not always what's the proper
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
that's like
real quick though, if I could touch on that other thing you said, Tommy, like kind of how language it like manipulates us, I think that's a really important thing to kind of keep in mind when you talk to people. Like I've noticed personally, like if I send a text message and I don't like how the connotation is, I'll really change it. So if it's like, oh, I have to do this, it's like it's not like you have to, you have the opportunity to. So it's not like, oh, I have to go to the gym. Like people would kill to be able to go to the gym. Like that's a privilege to be able to go to the gym, I think. It's a blessing to be able to do. And I think kind of shaping your language to be overall more thankful, it's really helpful because like humans are
Gratitude.
humans are really susceptible to like linguistic propaganda. It's just kind of in our nature. But like the downside is like it's really easy to get taken advantage of if you don't realize how language affects what you say or how you think. But if you are aware of that, you can use positive language and really make yourself an overall happier person.
So I do have a lot to add to that, and I didn't think about it until you said this, Taylor. But it was freshman year of high school. I had an Algebra 2 trig teacher. His name was Dr. Fossey. Everyone thought he was this super weird dude, into quantum physics, into stars, into this whatever. I don't remember the phrase for it, but he had this program he followed, and one of the things he was always saying was unbearable is a horrible word to use. Nothing is unbearable. Nothing. If you're saying it's unbearable, you're wrong because you've made it. You're able to say it to yourself. Unbearable is you die. You know what I'm saying? So not everything is so bad. Not everything is unbearable. Yeah, sure, it sucks. It's bearable. And surprisingly enough, I don't remember anything from Algebra 2 trig, but I remember that.
I think, like, you know what they say, like, if you say you can or you can't, like, you're right, Like, if I say it's impossible to lose weight, it's impossible to become successful, I'm going to be correct, But if I say that it's possible and it will happen, I'm equally correct.
Yeah, it also inflicts your passion for it because, especially like with my gym thing, when I went to people and I said, I'm going to open a gym, they're like, what are you on about, bro? No, you're not. I said, no, I'm going to open a gym. I said, no, I'm going to open a gym. And they're like, okay, dude. It's even speaking, you're speaking into existence and talking to people around you. You're putting thoughts on paper, essentially.
Yeah, because to them it is impossible because they've already decided that it is.
Yep.
But it's no less possible for them than you, other than they've decided that it is.
Yep. Reaching your full potential.
Mm-hmm.
With that, though, we're at hour 10. You guys cool with it?
Yeah, I'm good, bro.
I fucking.
So Instead of the quote, or actually before the quote, I'll just get into a couple things. Me and Taylor are currently working on getting some merch pushed out. We kind of got to get into the roots of that. If you guys want anything or think of any type of cool merch or whatever, just put it in the comments or email us. I'll throw our email in the comment section below. Completely forgot about this, but I realized that when I was sending my link to everyone, you could just hit the notification bell and it'll do it for me. So that would be fantastic if you guys could do that.
If you like this video, please like
Yeah.
and subscribe to the little
Yeah,
comment.
bro. I completely
Smash
forgot
that
about it.
like
Yeah,
here.
bro. So smash the like button. Yeah, subscribe. We've gotten a couple of you guys. Appreciate it all. And today, yeah, instead of quotes, since the topic was music, I figured we'd bring in a song, and I got a quote with my song. Like I said, I did do "Emotionally Scarred" by Lil Baby, and his quote was, or one of the verses was, "I just played the hand I was out, didn't have to force it. All around the world, they know it's me. They hear my voice." I think that speaks volumes. To be honest, I just played the hand I was dealt, didn't have to force it. Like that just goes to speaking. You're on a path, bro. You're on the path. Use it. You got tools, use them. But go ahead. Taylor or Tommy, who wants to go?
I got you. All right, man. I wanted to pick like Kid Cudi, like Reborn at 1st,
Mm-hmm.
and then I was like, oh, let me pick the ASAP Rocky, ASAP Forever remix. But then I'm looking at my board, and I'm going with Big Sean, song called "Who's Stopping Me" from 2017, and the quote I got is, "Nothing's off limits if it's on this earth, bitch. So let's get to work, bitch." You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Say it one more again.
Say nothing's off limits if it's on this earth, bitch. So let's get to work, bitch. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Nah, Big Sean is super motivational though. I fuck with Big Sean. You got.
I'm a big fan of Big Sean.
Who's stopping me? Big Sean. What you got, Katie?
So I don't have a quote from this song, but it's an overall positive song. It is called "God Is" by Kanye West. If you want some just kind of uplifting, kind of rap hip hop type deal, listen to that song. It's got a little bit of gospel in there, and it's one of those songs that just makes me a lot more thankful for everything that I have. And that's one thing I wanted to stop on this podcast with is like anyone that watches us or that subscribes to us, I just wanted to say thank you for kind of being open to this new idea we're starting, and thank you for believing in us. We got a lot of big things planned, and I'm just incredibly thankful. Every view that we have is like we'll check in with like every time it goes up one, it's like, oh, that's fucking awesome, you know. So for anyone that watches this and like kind of likes the idea, just thanks for sticking with us. And we got a lot of big things planned, so stay tuned.
Yeah, good words from KD. Like I said, Tommy texted me yesterday, and I told him too. I broke down in tears just to be able to express my gratitude. Like I thought about it. I don't need to cry, but then I just sat here for a second, and I was like, man, it feels really good to be supported by the people who are supporting us. We're getting criticism from everyone. It's fantastic. Ideas from everyone. Like Taylor said, we got some ideas planned up. It's just a matter of time. If you stay tuned, they'll be coming. If you want to get on, like I said, the email will be down below. You can shoot me a text or send an email on over. With that, though, Tommy, if you want to say anything, we could leave it off with you, man.
Love yourself.
Amen.
Treat yourself like you're someone you are responsible for
Hey, it
helping.
all comes back. It all comes right back around, baby.
Full circle, baby. Coincidence?
I think not.
All right, fellas. I'll catch y'all next time.